by SBENU. Let's take a look at these predictions. It turns out only me and Kanata going for Bomber, and 4 of you guys going for Stats. Why don't you talk about your prediction? What do you think about this one?
Bomber's incredibly good, and he looks to be in form right now. But I think you guys are crazy. Stats is a great. You guys are crazy. Like I thought you were a sane person.
Crazy.
I thought you were a sane person for like most of our friendship and our time working together. But now I know that you're in fact insane because Stats. Well, let's talk about Bomber first. Bomber's 3-1 in Pro League. He's 1-0 versus Protoss. Okay. And that's not why Kanata picked him here, because Kanata just has his own way of doing things. But this guy he's another one of these players that's got like a legacy behind him. He is a StarCraft 1 pro from Eastro that never really made it. He was always kind of on the bottom part of the team. He just kept trying hard. He was persistent, and he became one of the best StarCraft 2 players of all time, one of the most consistent players of all time. He dropped off for a while. He was traveling. He was doing the whole Red Bull thing. And now he's back in Korea, and he's like, no, I can be top-level Koreans.
Yeah, and he definitely can. Talking about Stats a little bit as well, he's got an incredible record against Terran for sure. A very, very strong player. He took 2 games off of Maru in a best-of-7. He's definitely up there. And kind of finding it funny that we're arguing. Like, we're saying all the good points for the people that we didn't vote for, but regardless, Stats definitely a very good player, but I'm seeing something in Bomber. I'm riding this SBENU hype wave. Also, you know, the map, I feel like it's very good for Terran. I feel like it suits Bomber's style very well, and I expected it to be here at 2-1, but I think Bomber, you know, having all of his preparation and so much experience here in StarCraft, I think he's going to pull this one through here for SBENU. I think he's going to carry them on his back right now.
Well,
I wouldn't say we're crazy, Wolf, but
I know I was only teasing. I was only teasing. I have the utmost respect for you and Kanata. But I'll explain my reasoning once we get into this game because I want to get into it a bit more in depth, and we're about to run out of time because we're starting it right here, right now on Vaani Research Station.
Up here in the north, on the Vaani Research Station in the pink, it is Bomber.
Stop moving that. I'm trying to read it. This saying is she's cheering for Bomber. To the bottom in red, it's Stats for KT Rolster.
Cheer up.
Cheer up.
There you go.
We talked about this. That's not the direct translation of cheer up.
That's the only reason she did it. She's just poking fun at us right now.
It's like the one time when I wanted them to write best is zest, and then they did it. I'm like, you guys really do listen to what I say. Okay, so let's talk about Stats. Look at that, by the way, 48-52.
Yeah, man. It's incredibly close for this matchup.
Stats has incredible PvT. I see in his PvT things I haven't seen in other players. He's got this amount of crispness to his play where his confidence in the matchup is just, you can see it in how he moves. I remember one of the last games I cast before I went to Tokyo was, it was a game where he played maybe against TY, I can't remember, but he was going for a blink pressure build. And then I could just tell at some moment he decided, he was like, no, you're playing too greedy and you don't think I'm going to do this. I've got you fooled. You scouted my Twilight, but I'm going to kill you. And even though Twilight was scouted, and he attacked with the build, his micro was perfect, and he just won the game. And I remember at that moment I started studying. I went back and watched a lot of his VODs in this matchup, and even the games that he loses, I feel like he really, really understands this matchup very well. He knows how to counter the aggression. He knows how to counter the SCV pulls really, really well. He's got that down to a T. I don't think Bomber's going to be able to kill him with that unless he plays super greedy here. He's very catch-all, but in a very confident way. The way he plays PvT reminds me of how Zest used to play PvP when he was doing really well, where it's like every move he makes is he's so confident. There's never any hesitation. There's never a moment where he's like, oh, let me add another forge here, and I guess I'm going to sit back and think about when I take a third. Every move is very calculated, and I don't know. I don't know how to put into words how I feel about his PvT, but I see something in his that I feel like if you look at Hero's PvT, it's like, okay, well, maybe Hero's PvT is better because he's just a better player in general. But Stats' PvT is like, it's something that I admire. Like, I look at it and I say, let's remark on this. Like, let's talk about this again. He's got a very specific way of doing things, and he really is quite confident.
Yeah. I mean, especially for this matchup, as you mentioned, he's very, very strong in it. Going into this game a little bit, let me mention we had a gas first from Bomber, so we're going to have a very, very quick factory and probably a bunch of aggression coming out here from him. Could be, you know, just quick Widow Mines. We'll see what he goes for, though.
Yeah. You know, this type of build, obviously, you can get in someone's head quite early. Ooh, Warp Gate Research is forgotten. This is a big problem for Stats. He needs to realize that.
Looks like he might go for a Stalker first. Oh, no. Just going to go for a Pylon. And, yeah, Warp Gate Research delayed there about 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah, that was scary.
Something small, but it does matter. Especially when you're facing aggression, you're going to want those Warp Gates out as fast as possible.
Absolutely. Let's see how Bomber wants to commit to this. He's at least going to have one Widow Mine here. And this is obviously going to be a drop. This is going to be the Marine variation. And a Hellion.
Yeah. You know, we've seen this a lot out of is Maru as well. A lot of the top Terrans playing very, you know, very alike each other these days, I'd like to say. We see this kind of drop where you go like one Widow Mine and two Hellions, and then you send in Marines towards the front. But at the same time on this map, I think it's going to be a little bit harder to do it. I think he'll try to go for the back door.
Yeah, we see...
because, I mean, look at this. You could just block that ramp and you're totally fine.
Exactly. We see this a lot on this map because the expansion's in the back, and you can just block the ramp. Block the ramp super easy.
Yeah, and you know what you do is you put the Widow Mine on the ramp to your natural, the backdoor natural, as the Terran.
Yeah. And he's actually going in here with just the one Widow Mine, leaving the second one at home for defense.
Yeah, and look at this build out of Stats. He makes the Stargates, but delays it, gets down his Robo first, and then makes a Phoenix.
Yeah, it's almost like the Phoenix is on cleanup duty here, but it's not out quick enough to stop this, and this is a mostly Marine drop. This is not just the two Widow Mine drop he's expecting here. With one Widow Mine and that much firepower on the Marines, with just this one Stalker, he's going to have some trouble. He's going to have to bring more units back. He's even going to have to Nexus Cannon this.
Yeah. He's going to do a good job of forcing out the Nexus Cannon, and he's going to go towards the main. I think try to put on some pressure. That Phoenix is definitely going to help out. I really love this wall. Those Hellions are not getting in.
Well, with these Stalkers occupied, though, these Marines are getting in, and he's going to kill a lot of probes with this. I'm really liking how Bomber's deciding to come about this. He knows, okay, I'm going to get in one way or the other. You can't block everything with this build that you've done. Oh, and now the Hellions come in.
Probes, they're lined up over there. Really nice lifts, though. He's going to take out those Hellions.
That was a tense moment for sure, Valdez. And he saves the Mothership core.
Oh, but look at this. At the same time, the Widow Mine gets another shot off. 3 kills in total, and the Hellions survive, but there's still
one more shot will do it. He can't see. It looks like he can't see. He doesn't know the Hellions over there.
Whoa. Observer is finally out, so he is going to be able to deal with that. But look at this, 10 probes and damage. At the same time, Bomber's CC with this is very, very late. So
I like Bomber's position right now, though. I like the way he went about that. He knew exactly how Stats is going to be positioned, and when he confirmed that with the Stalkers at the front, he's like, okay, you can leave your Stalkers there. I will kill every probe you have with my Marines. You can't fight Marine drops with workers. You just can't. The healing of the medevac is going to be way too much. You're never going to kill any of them, so you have to bring units back, and that's when he sent the Hellions in. He already had disrupted the mining at the natural. Some of those probes are out in the middle of nowhere. Really nice execution on that attack.
Yeah. This is part of the reason why I did vote for Bomber on this map. I mean, he's just so good at doing those very quick, aggressive builds and getting damage done to the Protoss. We already see him committing to a bunch of Widow Mines as well into this composition. I wonder if he just won't play like Maru did and just make like no Vikings. He's got one out, but let's see. I mean, he already sees the Phoenixes coming out of Stats here, so he's going to know that at least a bunch of Phoenixes are going to be committed to from the Protoss.
Yeah.
We'll see how he deals with this kind of style.
Well, he's going to have to keep that Viking close because otherwise it's going to get picked off by these Phoenixes. They're looking for anything they can find right now. A good scout. We'll see the third CC as well. And let's see if he commits to any more Phoenixes. Doesn't have the money to make one right now, but he will in just a second. We see some of his players stop at 5 or 6, but you know, and not really commit to that Phoenix Colossus.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I don't think he's going to make any more. I think this is where he's going to stop.
Yeah, let's see. He's supply blocked here, actually. Oh, no, there we go. Gonna just continue making probes, and like you said, still no Phoenixes. Gonna put down that third base. This map will allow you to do it. It's a very long map. Gonna be very hard for either player to really get damage done from this point on after that like very early game pressure.
Yeah, this could be a resource issue as well, as to why he stopped Phoenixes temporarily here, because he can't afford it until he has more gases up. While he's trying to make Colossi get another forge.
Did he make one forge or two?
This is his first
just
one,
one, right?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Yep, just his first one. I just checked it, and so he's upgradeless so far. But the same could be said of Bomber, who doesn't have his E-base ready either. Which starts to make me feel like he's not planning on adding those upgrades all at once to do a big push right now. Like, he knows, okay, so what Bomber knows, he knows his opponent has committed a lot of gas to Phoenixes. He knows the Colossus count is low. He knows he has a heavy Marauder Marine force. And, you know, that Stats is trying to take the third base.
Yeah.
This would be a good time to attack.
He could definitely put on pressure. There will be another Photon overcharge, but imagine, you know, you just drop in there with 2 medevacs possibly onto the 1 Colossus. You may do it a little bit later, you know, once he gets a bit more bio out here. Yeah. But at the same time, he does have that 3rd CC, and he's going to land it right now. And maybe just sit back for now.
He did just add a ton of barracks and set a pretty cute Widowmine trap for those Phoenixes as well. I think this would be a great time to do a multi-pronged attack, but with Phoenixes on the map, that becomes such a challenge. He's already down a lot in medevacs. Looks like he just lost another one. I don't know how. I was looking at the unit tab, and one just disappeared. Yeah, accidentally killed one of his own medevacs.
Accidentally killed one of his medevacs.
Yeah,
it's definitely possible.
He did. There's no other explanation. He accidentally killed one of his medevacs.
It's kind of funny.
Unless we just missed a drop that got shut down or something. I think he accidentally killed one of his medevacs. That's crazy. These things do happen when you're moving your army around the map, though. Every now and then you misclick.
Yeah.
It was the weakened one that's gone, so that's good at least.
True. Bomber's going to add a 2nd starport here, so he's going to commit very, very heavily to getting just a ton of Vikings out here. Not really going to play like Maru here, just going to play standard, straight up TVP, try to crush Stats. He's got those 3 bases up in a lot of SCVs. Could also possibly go for a bit of a pull the boys push as well. It's kind of falling out of style these days, but Bomber known to do some of those every once in a while.
The thing about the pull the boys type push, the lazy boy push as I like to call it, is it's one of these builds that is extremely potent if you do a lot of early game damage, because you just like hit this critical mass that the Protoss just cannot deal with.
Yeah. Before the Protoss is ready as well.
I think that Bomber might be able to pull this off. He only got the +1 attack off of 1 eBay. He's really committing to most of his gas to this Viking production.
Yeah, stopped at 58 SCVs as well. I think it's going to go for a 1-1 big timing push. Pull the boys.
Absolutely think you're right. He may even go earlier than that. If he
Look at this. Stats is even going to commit to Storm right now, or at least Templar Archives. And I don't know if he's going to have enough here to defend. That 3rd base on this map as well is so open, and there we go. The boys are going to be pulled.
Yeah, he's coming earlier. Like I said, remember what I said when this game was just starting, when they were making their first pylons, man, is the way he dies to a boys push if he plays greedy, like getting charged +1 for Phoenixes, making Phoenixes Templar Archive immortal at the same time as he's taking a 3rd base. It doesn't get greedier than that. 13 Vikings versus 4 Colossi. It's looking pretty good for Bomber here. Let's see what he can get done.
Pushing in through with those Vikings right away, trying to focus down all the Colossi. A really nice concave, but at the same time, really great force fields.
The time warp and the force fields are incredible here. And now he's microing his Colossi back. It just doesn't look like it's going to matter, though. Charge is not ready. His Zealots do not have charge. His Phoenixes do wipe out the rest of the Vikings, and Immortal comes out. Oh, this is such a close fight, but now the Phoenixes might be able to clean things up. Some of those Widowmines are still active there at the back, and this fight is not over. Bomber's going to try to hold his ground here, but I think he's running a bit out of steam. That Immortal adding so much extra power here, and that Colossus lives for now. It does fall, and the Phoenixes will clean up the rest of the Vikings, and Bomber's in trouble. 67 to 47 probes. That was such a close fight. Force fields and the time warps changed everything.
Yeah, just a very, very well fought battle by Stats. Even the building placement really taking away the surface area for Bomber rather to attack from, and that 1 Colossus in the back survived for way too long. It got like 5 or 6 extra swipes off that it should not have, and just let Stats barely hold on. And now Stats is in a great position. A bunch of SCVs go down. Also, he's got Archons out on the map, 3 of them. He's got that +2 armor on the way.
when you fight at that location with the building placement you were talking about with stats, the units clump up a lot, especially when some of that surface area for them to spread out is taken away by force fields. That one Colossus at the back got so many good shots where the units were shoved in together on top of the same location. You know, like literally some of the SFVs are stacked on top of each other, for example, and it was incredible how much damage he was able to get done with that. And Bomber is in trouble now. 3 Archons at so much extra firepower.
I mean, look at the supplies right now. Bomber is just on straight up bio with a bunch of Vikings, but we got Archons. We're going to have 5 Archons. There's going to be a Colossus, Phoenixes. This is an intensely strong Protoss army right now, and I don't think there's any way Bomber can hold this off.
Well, here we go. Charge is done now. I think Bomber might be done too. Archon's coming in here doing so much splash damage to the Vikings. The Phoenixes are helping out as well. Zealots need to get pulled back here because they're getting a bit ahead of themselves. But it looks like once the Vikings fade, these Archons are going to come do what they do best. And this Bio army is eventually just going to get torn to shreds. He does have to kind of pull back and regroup for a second here.
Yeah, but there we go. You can't kite this forever. He's eventually going to run out of Bio, but let's see. The Zealots do all fade, but at the same time, GG.
Just so many Archons that even though the Zealots faded, it just didn't end up mattering. Didn't end up mattering at all.
So there you go. Stats is going to finish it off here for KT Rolster, 3 in a row.
Every game today has been so good, Valdez. Every single game.
Oh, yeah. Even that one was really, really close. Bomber almost pulled it off.
I thought he was going to do it. He had the perfect army. He had the perfect timing. Charge wasn't done. You know, the armor upgrade wasn't done. Storm, he didn't have it. He didn't really have Archons. He had a low Colossus count. His micro in his confidence, the sort of air of confidence I was talking about towards the beginning of that game when I was talking about why I feel Stats is possibly the best player in this matchup. It's just incredible. It almost like the way he moved his units and his Zealots when he let them fight for a while, then pulled them back. It almost felt like not even for a second he was worried. It was almost like he just didn't. He
was like in complete control of the fight from beginning to end, basically.
Yeah, he didn't seem worried or phased. It was like every part of that fight, every part of that micro, from the time warp to the force field, was like, I've done this 1,000 times, and I'll do it 1,000
to the building placement. He knows what kills on this map when you're facing Terran, and he knows Bomber as well. He prepared so well. I like that you mentioned the timing. A lot of things coming through for Stats, but he was confident he could hold on, and after he held, there was just no way that he was going to lose that game. Too many things coming together, all the upgrades, the Archons, like you were saying, and there you have it. Stats is going to be able to defeat Bomber. And I wonder who the MVP is going to be here for our interview. Who are you thinking, Wolf?
Stats. Life as well, a high chance because of how well he played in that game.
I'd say Stats, though.
I think I would pick Stats, but it's a tough choice.
Bomber, obviously not going to be too happy with that loss.
He played a really good game, though. His harass was really well executed. That's the thing, like, last round, we had so many one-sided games, so many, like, quite frankly, bad games and bad matches. This round, we are just not really seeing that as much. I mean, it's been pretty good.
It's so competitive nowadays here in Korean StarCraft. It's so fun to see. Here's today's match result for the first match. MMA able to take out Clash. And another great game there, but then Zest, Life, and Stats take out Myungshik, Lenon, and Bomber. And they win 3-1. No ace match today.
No ace match today.
Well, for the beginning.
For the beginning, but what has happened to ace match Mondays?
They switched to ace match Tuesdays, at least for last week. We'll see if that happens again.